I want to let you explain the mouth situation and how on earth that happened. I've left the door open for you to kind of fill in the gaps there.
There's people listening now who haven't seen the mouth situation.
It's a good name for an album as well.
Get Radio Breakfast with Rich Smith.
The continuation of Band Week, one of my favourite weeks of the year that we do here at Get Radio, because we get to speak to loads of incredible people, loads of incredible bands, and really lucky to be joined on the show by Nigel Powell, who is really Oxford band royalty, I've got to be honest. Morning, Nigel. Thanks so much for joining us.
You can't call me royalty at this time.
No, okay, fair enough. Look, thanks so much for joining us and taking the time out to chat about the band. The Exact Opposite, which is an amazing band that you've got with Jamie Stewart. Do you want to? Should we go a little bit further back? Should we do it in a kind of reverse chronological order? Because the band started out. Way back when, under another guise, way back in 2001, of course.
Yeah. So I've been in a band with Jamie since then. I joined. I was kind of coming to the end of being in Unbelievable Truth. We were in the process of breaking up, but nobody knew it. So I was asking around Oxford if anybody needed a drummer, and Dustball had recently lost their drummer. So I kind of said I could do that, and they went, really? Because Unbelievable Truth were all slow and acoustic-y, and they were all fast and punky. But I showed up and played, and they went, oh, you can. So yeah, I joined Dustball in 2001, and that mutated into Dive. We released albums kind of consistently for the first half of the 2000s.
Yeah, amazing stuff. And I wanted to sort of talk about that kind of the gap in the middle, I guess, because obviously it's kind of going back with Jamie and kind of forming this new band, The Exact Opposite. But there was obviously a period in between where you weren't doing stuff necessarily together and what have you. That burning desire always been there to kind of do something with the pair of you?
Well, I mean, I've always loved Jamie's songwriting and approach to everything. He's one of those people where everything is slightly off center. It's like he's kind of like a normal songwriter, but then it's kind of also weird at the same time, and you're like, okay, but which I find really exciting and interesting. So I've always loved working with him, and throughout the Dive days, we tended to start off songs. Jamie would bring something in, and then me and him tended to be the first people that worked on it, because once you've got the guitars, the voice, and what the drums are doing, it's kind of it's the foundations of the house, as it were, and then everybody else can come in and know how to pitch their contribution. And then there was a long period where I would have loved to continue working with him, but I ended up so busy with doing something else that I was around very little. And I mean, I feel kind of guilty in a way. I kind of abandoned him for a decade, doing other things and traveling around the world and playing music, and then I come back later on when I'm not doing anything else and go, do you want to do something more? And thankfully he went, yes, instead of no, go away.
Well, yeah, I mean, thankfully you have kind of you've got together and you're making this amazing music. And I wanted to kind of go back to bring it up a little bit further. And actually, the last time that we actually had a chat, I don't know if you remember this, it was a different time as well. And I'm sort of trying to move things on sort of chronologically and what have you. But I wanted to dip back at 3 years, which you might remember was slap bang in the middle of a pandemic. And you were doing a drumathon. I don't know if you remember that, or if you feel kind of twigged with that.
No, I remember it very well. I don't think I could ever forget playing drums constantly for 12 hours. And I mean, that was it was an amazing challenge, and it was for a very good cause. It was for mental health charities. And I mean, the drumathon is still a thing. I don't think they did it last year, this year rather, but it's a week of drummers playing constantly, and it's so popular. There's usually 2 or 3 at a time. You can switch channels, and a lot of the drummers, I think, quite sensibly, when they were doing their 12 hours, they would have like a set of 2, maybe 3 hours that they would repeat. But me being me, I went, right, I've got 12 hours total of music. If I edited a bit in my entire career, I'm just going to play it. And not only am I going to play no repeats, all stuff that I've done, I'm also going to do it in chronological order, which turned out to be a big mistake because a couple of the Dive albums ended up very late on, and wow, they're challenging. I mean, they were always kind of quite challenging, but I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of cruising through. But after drumming for 10 hours and suddenly having to do this insanely complicated, very fast dive stuff, I was like, oh no.
Yeah, in hindsight, we're all have done some stuff differently during the pandemic, and that was your one for the drumathon. Get the hard bits out of the way at the start, and make it an easy sort of 6 hours after that, and what have you.
Yeah.
Just going back to the exact opposite, I wanted to talk about the music video. I'm of that age where music videos are still kind of a thing to me. I am the MTV generation of sitting there watching music videos. That's what we did. We're growing up. So when a good video comes out, I'm kind of like, oh, this is really cool. I wanted to go into the Look at Him Go video, which is brilliantly shot. It's amazing. But can you explain? I want to let you explain the mouth situation and how on earth that happened. I've left the door open for you to kind of fill in the gaps there.
There's people listening now who haven't seen it. The mouth situation?
It's a good name for an album as well. The mouth situation. Right, that's free. That's on me.
That's more like an indie band to me. I think it's and now the John Peel show, the mouth situation.
Come on, it's been done. It's been done.
Anyway, but yes, so it was I kind of organised making the video, and it was actually from a tiny bit of Taskmaster that I was watching. I was like, oh, that's a good idea, and I can take that a bit further. But so basically what we did was we got photos of Jamie and my faces, and then kind of put them onto, photocopied them, and cut them out, and then stuck them upside down on our chins, if you can imagine that.
Yeah.
Then put something across like our face below our nose, so that whole bit of the face is blanked off, and then you film us singing the song, and then you flip it upside down, and it's just it looks very odd. I think I kind of almost did it too well, that initially you can't quite tell what's going on. It just looks like and then you look a little bit closer, and it's like, what is happening there? Which I like. And initially that was going to be the whole video, but then I started doing some animation as well, so it ended up getting shuffled in with that.
It is absolutely fantastic, and it's one of those things, like you said, that you watch it, and growing up watching videos and what have you, things that sort of stick in your head, and you go into it and go, his teeth upside down. which is a brilliant thing to keep with you when you're watching a music video, going, and then you're sort of trying to sort of turn your head as well to watch it. So added sort of visual as well as audio pleasure. And
also very cheap.
Hey, it doesn't look cheap. It's awesome. It looks awesome. Okay, so obviously, with the exact opposite now, whereabouts are we at? We've got obviously the album has been launched, a skill issue. What's the kind of plan for summer? Have we still got summer? I don't know if we have or potentially haven't. But what's the future kind of looking like?
So we've got another single. You don't call them singles anymore in radio, do you? You call them focus tracks. But we've got
probably not yet, to be honest. But there we go.
We're releasing another focus track probably next week. I've actually, I mean, obviously I'm clearly of your same generation, because we've been waiting until we could get the video together for it, which took a little bit of doing it, because I have these ideas, and somehow once I've had the idea, I can't kind of give up and do something else when the first idea is proving unworkable and difficult. So yeah, we should be finishing that video for FFS is going to be the song that comes out, and but I've kind of we've played a few gigs over the summer, but I've been a little bit distracted because I'm in another band called Unbelievable Truth, and we just finished recording a new album, and I've been mixing that. So my kind of focus, once I'd finished the Exact Opposite album and got it out, my focus did shift for a little while, but now it's coming back to the Exact Opposite. But there's quite a lot of balls in the air, because we've been writing so fast with the Exact Opposite that we've actually got most of a new album now already.
Oh,
so we're kind of trying to nail that down and get that recorded as well. If we can get the second one out 6 months after the first one, that's not going to happen. But so we're yeah. So, basically, another single. We're writing, going to get another album out, and we'll play some gigs. It's not rocket science.
no, it's not, is it? No, it's funny. The bands that we have spoken to, they've all kind of had that same sort of formula: get the songs out and then perform them. But it's brilliant stuff, and I highly recommend if you do get a chance to see Nigel performing with their bands that we just mentioned. Really, really fantastic stuff. Nigel, it's been a joy and a pleasure catching up with you. It really, really has. I think we could have chatted for absolutely hours and hours and hours, which I'd love to do at one stage. But for now, thanks so much for joining us.
I can feel a podcast in the offing, but
there it is. There it is. There's the old net has been cast, isn't it? There we go. Brilliant stuff. Thanks so much, Nigel. Cheers for that.
Cheers.